Um, Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today and to represent my team. This is not just me and Bob, but we are a bigger team that I will mention here for you. So our talk is called Prepare for the Coming Flood of AI-Generated Music. My name is Elin Kanhov, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher in the MUSAiC team, which stands for Music at the Frontiers of Artificial Creativity and Criticism. And in this project, we are confronting questions and challenges at the frontier of the AI disruption and/or transformation of music. And Bob, who is ill, he is the manager of this project. And this has been going on since October 2020 and will end in September next year. And it's an ERC-funded project. And in our team, we are a group of PhD students, a couple of postdocs. We have research assistants, some affiliated researchers. And this is a mix of people from the humanities, but also from engineering, which is quite unusual, at least for me, coming from musicology and the humanities, to be in a research group like this, and it's very, very useful. So today we will talk about 5 major themes. First of all, AI applied to music is actually nothing new. But there are 3 major differences that we are seeing today. And we see the conditions for this perfect storm that can swamp human music. And new opportunities will, of course, emerge for music creation, but we should also be aware of the dangers. And lastly, we will talk about how we are preparing for this.
Our first theme is that AI music is nothing new. Artificial intelligence has been applied to music for many years, and even before then, algorithms and machines more generally. In 1957, this supercomputer, the ELIAC supercomputer, was applied to creating music, and this generated material that was then assembled into a string quartet called the ELIAC suite. After that, 1960, another supercomputer in Cambridge composed or generated material that was used to compose a string quartet called Music from EDSAC. In 1955, Markov chains were investigated for modeling cowboy songs. Here you see an example of a simple Markov chain showing the probability of transitions between 3 harmonies. As early as 1961, such models were being described as aids to music composition. That is, a composer could use these kinds of models to explore melodic possibilities. Around the year 1650, inventor Johannes Kircher devised the Arca Musarrhythmica, with which one could compose liturgical music, or music for 4 voices to be sung in church. And before that, in the year 1013, Guido d'Arezzo developed a method of notating music such that it could be easily transmitted and reproduced. And even before that, in the year 850 AD, the Book of Ingenious Devices describes several machines that could produce music. Fast forward to today, AI music is booming. Here you see several logo types of companies that are looking to exploit the current possibilities of AI technology applied to music. One such service is Boomi, which has been around since late 2018. With Boomi, you can click on a button that says Create Your Song, and then have Boomi release it to digital service providers such as Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon in order to get paid for listens. Here's an example that we have created, which is available on the digital service providers Seen It Right.
Please play the example.
Relax, 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 relax,
Okay.
Through the Boomi platform, we can see Stonky Stonks has been listened to a number of times. And we have earned a total of 6 cents on the release. The CEO of Boomi, Alex Mitchell, was interviewed in 2022 by a scholar of computational creativity. In this conversation, Mitchell says, what if you could do the iPhone 12 camera but for music, and then tie it into the global rights system so that people can make money from it? The core principle of what we want to achieve is, I'm a person with a smartphone anywhere in the world, and I can create music that is as good as what's coming out of major record labels in 10 seconds. He goes on to further say, what does 100 billion songs per year look like, and how does that shift the market? Whoever is there first and whoever is doing that, the spoils are going to be ridiculous. The idea of having billions of songs that one can listen to or purchase is not a new one, actually. In 2012, there was a vast repository of music tracks covering many essential styles by a company named MUSAiC. MUSAiC is no longer in business. Here are some examples.
Let's listen to the first example. Thank you. We can take the other one. Okay, so as you heard Bob talk about, AI in music is nothing new. But there are 3 significant differences that we are seeing today. First of all, scale. Boomi users have, according to the Boomi website, released over 20 million original songs. The Suno AI music service has over 388,000 users. And another music service for AI music generation, Udio, with this, they claim that you make 10 songs in a second. Next up, quality. So let's listen to this next example.
My chicken crossed the road at dawn. Thought she'd be right back, but she's gone. I stood there waiting, watching why.
All right, thank you.
She ain't come back.
Another example, let's listen to this one as well.
You don't play fair in this tug of war with my heart. You don't always care if we pull together or just fall apart.
That's great,
You're
thank you.
indifferent.
Okay, so with these 2 examples, you can hear that this can actually compete with commercial music heard on the radio, perhaps though lacking a bit on the production level. But it's hard to believe that there's no human composer or performer behind these examples. And the next example is also quite interesting. Let's listen a little bit to this, and maybe you can skip to somewhere in the middle of this example. Or maybe not, but it's a very long orchestral piece. Let's see if we can hear something at least. And this really lives up to the kind of Homer's epic, the Odyssey. It's a very dramatic piece. Thank you. And what's quite unusual with this one is that you can see that the description, this prompt has also been written in Chinese, so I don't actually know what it's saying, but it's a very long, extensive prompt, and this person has generated a 10-minute long orchestral piece with this AI music service, and it's quite impressive what these systems are capable of. So the last big difference then is distribution. As I mentioned, Suno has over 388,000 users. On their Discord server, people share the pieces they create with each other, so that's one outlet. As Bob also mentioned, Boomi is a distribution-focused service. So the music you release with Boomi gets streamed out on Spotify, on YouTube, and all these digital service providers. And people also share their AI-made music on places like Bandcamp and SoundCloud. So these companies are now becoming quite powerful, and this is noticeable as we're now seeing music labels suing AI companies, Suno and Udio, for copyright infringement. And this is kind of proof that the quality is high enough that the record companies are now becoming frightened.
The third theme of our talk is Welcome to the Swamp. In the swamp, machine-generated music is the rule, and human-created music is the exception. This is actually not a new idea. In 2023, the journalist Matthew Kirschenbaum, writing for The Atlantic, was looking at ChatGPT and other large language models and how their accessibility was going to inundate us with a new kind of text. He writes, "Our relationship to the written word is fundamentally changing. We may quickly find ourselves facing a textpocalypse where machine-written language becomes the norm and human-written prose the exception." So are we facing a music-pocalypse where the machine-generated music is the rule and human-created music is the exception? And so I've begun to warn people of the coming music-pocalypse. What does it mean for music and our relationship to it?
So this music apocalypse certainly sounds very alarming, and we should consider the dangers it potentially poses to music creation. But do we also see some opportunities emerging? Here are just a few thoughts. We, of course, see opportunities in new industries, like these companies now emerging on the market. They offer new kinds of jobs. They offer new types of money to be made, new types of investments. Of course, also opportunities for new kinds of academic research. This technological development is now also available to researchers. And we also have new people, new events, and new topics to study. New forms of musicianship. People who do not have access to real instruments or to a music studio, they turn to these AI music services, and we've actually seen that they find kind of experiences of being creative with these AI music services in ways that they probably wouldn't have had that outlet otherwise. And even though AI music services like Boomi are advertised as this kind of click of a few buttons to make a song, we have seen people making lots of effort to make music with these services in ways that are quite inventive. We might also be seeing invigorated cultural expressions. So the chicken song that we played, for example, this is something we now we are trying to coin as kind of meme music. So memes have, of course, been part of internet culture since its beginning. But now this is also finding its way into music. So with this, these types of services, you can make very personalized music expressions. You can make a song for your friends or your family, or you can respond to internal jokes with a song in a way that hasn't really been possible before. But what are the dangers then? well, considering the lawsuit against these AI music services, for example, we might be seeing a collapse of copyright and intellectual property. And consolidation of power, what happens when music production and creation is becoming controlled by a handful of companies. We might also be seeing a cheapened skilled labor as the training data that these AI music systems have been trained on is created by creative professionals in the first place, and this is now used to train models to replace those creative professionals. We see increased environmental costs. As you know, AI systems require a lot of energy to both be trained and then to run. And perhaps also a loss of cultural diversity. Will the quantification of AI music generation swamp available music online? Again, like Boomi rely on music streaming revenue, and their service encourages this quantification of music. So the focus there is rather on making money and generating money through intellectual property rights, rather than viewing music as a primarily social activity between humans.
Finally, we are preparing for the music apocalypse. First, we have established a global interdisciplinary collaboration between engineers, musicologists and ethnomusicologists, sound studies, computer music, computational creativity, anthropology, economics, law, and intellectual property. Many of these areas are being touched by AI technology in music and other cultural products. Together, we have written a paper, AI Music Studies Preparing for the Common Flood, in which we outline a new field of study which will help us prepare for the flood. We are also organizing the first international conference in AI music studies to happen later this year in Stockholm, with gracious support from Riksbankens Jubileumsfond and Kungliga Musiska Akademien, as well as KMH and the ERC. Finally, we are leaning in. For instance, I've released an album, Long-Time Listener, First-Time Whistler, where I record myself whistling over several Boomi tracks. Here is an example.
Let's listen to this.
We are also exploring what it means to perform AI-generated music. What happens when you take it out of its digital domain and you try to bring life to it in a concert setting? Finally, we have leaned into exploring generative AI for creating a simulation of commercial radio. We have created KSPR, Stochastic Pirate Radio, which consists of call signs, news, dialogue, adverts. If there's time, we can listen to some of these.
I do think we have a little time, so let's listen to the call signs.
You're listening to Stochastic Pirate Radio. Stochastic Pirate Radio. Stochastic Pirate Radio. Stochastic Pirate Radio.
You can also go to the news.
Good morning, this is Bobby Ghost with today's news. Let's start with some breaking news. Nearly half of the UK's waste is now burned for energy, but a BBC analysis finds it is as dirty as coal. This comes as the government continues to push for an increase in the use of waste to energy technology.
Let's listen to the dialogue.
Good afternoon, listeners. I'm Anna, and joining me today is the knowledgeable Philip. We've been discussing various health and wellness topics, and today we're diving into the best foods to eat for a fall detox.
And lastly, the advert.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we ponder the mysteries of life and its inevitable end, allow me to introduce you to the Comfort Care Box. This unique gadget, designed to bring peace in life's final moments, is your ticket to tranquility. The Comfort Care Box plays soothing music, recites calm.
So this runs 24 hours, generates new material all the time, so please feel free to go in and listen. I think we now have the spooky edition going on because we are now entering the autumn vibe of Halloween, etc. And that was it for us. Thank you so much for listening.
Let's do the Q&A here. So we have a couple of minutes, and I actually prepared a Menti, to sort of see what your attitudes towards AI creation, music creation is. So we have a QR code that you can scan. We're using this, I think, 3 times during the event. So make sure that you sort of take a photo of the QR code, and then you can use it for the rest of the mentees as well. And the question here is, how do you feel about AI's role in creative industries like music? Excited, concerned, or neutral? And let's see what the audience thinks. We'll be able to see the results as well. And do we have Bob over Zoom? Maybe he wants to just comment quickly as well. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
I'm not sure you'll be able to see the results, but if not, I can let you know what the results are. So 97 are excited. So these are absolute numbers. 99 are excited, continuously climbing, 104. 88 concerned, 72 neutral. So most people are either excited or concerned, and then neutral is on 3rd place. Does this mirror what you hear and what type of attitudes that you meet?
Yes, I'd say this is very much like representing what our team is talking about each day.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this is so exciting. We see so many new opportunities. Let's, develop technology and see how far we can push the edge of technology. On the other hand, it's like, but who are we infringing upon, and whose data are we using to create these systems? So it's definitely a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and you and Bob mentioned some of the dangers of AI music, or the sort of challenges. Bob, do you think, are there any sort of feasible solutions to some of these? Like, obviously the legal aspects, but the others as well. Like, what do you say?
Pushing for education in music. I think it should be a priority of a society to put forward these skills as something that is important to develop and to cherish. And Sweden does a relatively good job in the sense of cherishing its folk music traditions through recognition, and I think more widely that can be done.
Yep. And what do you say?
No, I totally agree. I mean, we need to remember that music is an activity, it's not a thing, it's not an end result product. Music is a doing, listening is a doing as well, but also practicing, performing. Music can be so many different things, and it's not just the content on Spotify.
No, that chicken song is really sticky. I will have to moderate for the rest of the day with the chicken song in my head.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Elin and Bob. We have to move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.